Hello and welcome. This is Brian Todd, and you've come to the right place today. I am having a conversation today with Erin Sagan of WordStream, and we're answering the very fundamental question today. Erin is particularly answering the fundamental question today: does AdWords work? Okay, and this webinar is particularly for you if you're early in the paid search advertising game, you've explored it a little bit, you've spent some time and money on AdWords or pay-per-click, but you're at that early crossroads where you know you have to make a decision. Are you going to do a deeper dive and invest far more time, resources, energy into AdWords or pay-per-click, or are you just going to pass on it? Okay, so if that describes you, then this webinar is for you. And I have with me Erin Sagan. Welcome, Erin. It's great to have you on. And,
thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, well, so Erin is the PPC evangelist and community manager. As you can see here, Erin is in her 4th year at WordStream. And, well, who's WordStream? Well, WordStream they've been good friends of Planet Perry for several years now. And I would describe WordStream this way: if you're a small or a medium-sized business, you want better results from paid search, you go to WordStream. And they provide search marketing software and services for you. They have all kinds of offerings. I'll mention 2. One is their PPC Advisor software. It's easy to use, lets you just craft better PPC campaigns. It does that by giving you like a more customized workflow. They have their 20-minute pay-per-click work week that lets you increase relevance on Google and Bing and Yahoo. It lets you get expert results in really a fraction of the time. Their tools are valuable. We've been recommending recommending those tools to our customers for years. They give you a boost. They let you grow your business. They drive better results. And really, whether you're brand new to search marketing or you're an experienced pay-per-click manager, there are tools in the WordStream suite for you. So, Erin, you call yourself a brand evangelist and a community manager. I love the term evangelist. It's kind of a funny word, borrowed from religious circles, but it's really true. Like that's what you do. So anyway, Erin has quite a record. Her team has consulted for over 4,000 paid search accounts. She trains, she consults, she's a contributor to the WordStream blog. She serves on the WordStream leadership team, works with a product team. She's helping define the next generation of search engine marketing tools. She presented recently at SMX West, PubCon Austin, Janes of Digital, and I went and I looked this up. If you go to PPC Heroes Top 25 Most Influential PPC Experts in 2015, you got a pleasant surprise because you'll see Erin there right at number 3. So that's quite a distinction. And if that wasn't enough, Larry Kim, the founder of WordStream, is at number 1 on that list. So that should give a person credentials enough, I think.
I should have you introduce me at every cocktail party I go to.
There you go. That would be fun.
Quite the introduction. Thank you.
My next trip to Boston, I will demand that I be given that job. So.
Perfect.
Well, so I think what we're going to start off with before I fully hand Erin the reins is getting to know you, the audience, just a little bit. And so the operative question we want to ask you is, how long have you been using AdWords? We'll give you 3 choices: less than a year, 2 to 5 years, 5 years or more. So we'll let our attendees fill in that poll. I'm nervous and eager to see how people respond to that. Now, Erin, you are based in Boston. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And you've been with WordStream, it said 4+ plus years.
Yeah, I just hit my 4-year anniversary, and actually it's crazy. When I started, the company was only 25 people, and 4 years later, we're, I think, around like almost 175. So we've seen tremendous growth. It's been really exciting.
That is tremendous growth.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. It looks like we've had a ton of people vote so far, and I'm excited to see these results. It looks like 62% of you guys out there have done PPC for less than a year, 22% from two to the last 5 years, and then we have our old guys, 17% at 5+ years. Nice.
That's a lot. You know, I'll raise my hand and say I was introduced to pay-per-click 13 years ago. Google AdWords. I opened my very first account, so you do have
the old guys there.
That's right.
All right, so should we go ahead and get started?
Erin, let's go ahead and dive in.
Perfect. So the topic of this webinar is, does AdWords work? And I'm sure you're all sitting out there being like, all right, duh, look at who I'm talking to. Between Brian and I, of course we believe in AdWords. In fact, that's kind of our livelihood here. Unfortunately, there are a lot of naysayers out there. There are a lot of people saying you don't need PPC, PPC doesn't have a good return on investment, and probably plenty of you are wondering that to yourselves. You know, for those of you, the 60% who's new to it, maybe you haven't seen the best results so far, and you are wondering, you know, whether or not to continue using it. Or maybe your boss is coming to you and saying, hey, I don't know if I buy this whole AdWords thing. Maybe we should stop spending money on it and turn to another tactic. So in the words of Taylor Swift, the haters are going to hate, but I think that there's a lot we can do to break down these misconceptions, and that is my goal today. So today we're going to destroy those top 5 PPC misconceptions. For those of you who are doubting it, I hope that you get everything you need now to understand why so many of us believe in it and so many of us have seen great results with it. And for those of you out there who are believers, who are looking to convince other people, like clients or bosses, that you should be using PPC, I hope that this gives you all of the fodder that you need to prove that to them.
And sometimes it's your own spouse or family members you have to convince to be able to actually set aside budget money for that. So,
absolutely. So the misconception that I think I hear most frequently, number one, is that you know, my PPC or my SEO is so good that I don't need PPC. And SEO, for so many people, they're like, well, that's free. Why would I spend money to show my ads on Google when I'm already showing up in the organic listings? Well, there's a number of reasons why SEO is not the most reliable thing out there. So the first reason being, when we look at a search engine results page, we've seen these evolve pretty significantly over time. And I remember I used to think to myself, like, well, who actually clicks on those ads? Everybody knows that they're ads. There's a little yellow block beside them noting that they're ads. You know, who actually clicks on those? The answer is a lot of people do. Almost 65% of people searching high-intent terms are favoring the paid results over the organic results. So if you're focused solely on these organic listings, you're automatically ruling out a really significant portion of potential traffic. And you might wonder why this is the case. You know, why are people turning to those ads, even if they know they're ads? Well, let's look at this scenario. Imagine that your bathtub is overflowing. If my bathtub overflowed, I would be screwed. I know nothing about plumbing. I tend to panic when things like this happen rather than be rational. So I know exactly what I would do. I would run to my phone and I would search for the nearest plumber who could come help me. And when I did this search, I did this earlier today, I looked at the 2 top listings that came up, the top ad and the top organic listing. Now, give these 2 a read and tell me which one you would pick. I think the answer is obvious, right? We would all pick this one, right? I mean, they're offering you $50 off. They give you all of these kind of guarantees. The phone number is there. You can call them directly. Like, what kind of idiot would click on the non-ad, right? Like, Brian, which one would you click on?
I would click on the ad on the left. That's what I do.
Good answer.
I don't know of anyone else who would look at this ad and think, they're just trying to sell me plumbing.
Right, especially when your bathtub is overflowing. This is at the top of the page. So who are the people clicking on these ads? It's people like you and it's people like me. We're all clicking on these ads because they give you really relevant information. They have all these bells and whistles that the organic listings don't. I mean, look at this organic listing. It's hardly legible. BostonStandardPlumbing.com. All right, great. That's really, not very compelling. With SEO, you don't have the opportunity to craft ads. You don't have the opportunity to set up the language that you want. You're kind of stuck with what you get, and oftentimes it's significantly less enticing than ads.
Now,
so that's one of the reasons.
This was true 10 years ago, and 10 years ago the paid ads did not have a fraction of the features such as you see here that paid ads do now, such as the call button and the various links at the bottom. So,
Yeah, and if you think about it, I mean, we know that the majority of Google's revenue is coming from their ad platforms. They want to create ads that people are going to click on. So they're giving us all of these bells and whistles, these ad extensions, so on and so forth, to make these ads more compelling. And if you're ruling these out and not using ads, you're ruling out a significant portion of traffic. Now, what's even scarier is looking at the mobile situation. So this was a pretty big year in mobile. Everyone makes fun of it. Like every year, we're like, oh, it's the year of mobile. Well, this year, it is like officially the year of mobile. I'm not going to bite my tongue saying that. The reason it's such a big deal is because this is the first year that we've actually seen the number of mobile searches surpass desktop searches. More people are looking for things on their phones than they are sitting at a computer. That is huge. And what this means for SEO, well, it's not a very good thing. Because when you look at a mobile device, you have very little real estate, right? These are teeny tiny things, iPhone's about 5 inches. And when I look at my iPhone, when I do a search, I really only see ads. In fact, I have to scroll a couple times before I see an organic listing. So mobile devices are absolutely murdering SEO because nobody's seeing organic listings. Think back to your tub overflowing. Are you scrolling down the page being like, all right, nice ads, but I got to get to the organic listing and then I'm going to call the plumber? Absolutely not. You're going to click the ad that you see that's visible and right there for you. So as we see mobile searches continue to increase and more people solely using mobile devices for searches, and that day is coming, we need to start thinking about whether or not SEO can stand up to that, and right now it can't. So you need to have ads, particularly in this venue. And this even extends to branded searches. I know a lot of people who say, fine, I'll use ads for those terms, keyword terms that people, don't know me too well for, that my organic listings may not have great standing. But for their branded terms, they often see, they're in a great position, they have their organic listing right there and available. So they're like, why would I ever bid on branded terms? What a waste of money. Well, as you can see here, the gains are very significant by using both paid and organic listings. So if you bid on your branded terms with PPC, you're totally dominating that page. If you have your ad and your organic listing kind of like double teaming the landing page, that's huge, right? We also have the opportunity to take up more space on the page with an ad because you can add bells and whistles like those extensions. You have the opportunity to sell yourself in conjunction with the organic listing. And most importantly, those tend to be fairly cheap. So I usually encourage anybody who's running paid search to include branded terms as well as non-branded terms. And finally, if any of you guys out there are at all in tune with the SEO world, which I imagine that most of you are, SEO is super turbulent. You are at Google's graces. You have to kind of hope that Google won't make any changes and your SEO standing will remain good. But that's not always the case, right? We think panda, we think penguin, hummingbird, all of these updates that they make, they can hit you at any day, anytime. You don't know the impact they're going to have on your organic listings. And if you put all your eggs in one basket and you're solely relying on the organic listings, and then one of these changes happens, it could totally destroy your lead flow to your business. So don't get me wrong, SEO is not bad. SEO is great, but you need to be using it in conjunction with PPC. You should be using both of those to kind of be giving your searchers the optimal experience.
You know, Erin, true story about panda and penguin. It was a couple of years ago. I was in a meeting with a whole bunch of our own people that do Google AdWords and do SEO and so on. And they were talking about panda, they were talking about penguin, and I raised my hand and I said, just wait till this new parakeet update comes out. Right? And I was just joking, but several people in the room got this like horrified, blood drained from their face look on their faces, and they're like, what, there's a parakeet now? And that buttresses your point, because it's like, you know, you're always afraid what next update is going to come along and wipe out my business if that's all I'm doing.
You're literally at the mercy of Google.
Yeah.
Hoping that they don't change things. And even recently in the news, we saw that Wix Marketplace landing pages were like not indexed by Google, and that significantly hit everybody who was doing SEO, right? Like you couldn't rely on those. They weren't showing in the organic listings very well. So PPC really protects you from a lot of that.
Oh, it really does. And you can turn it on, you can turn it off, you can get results in days or even hours rather than waiting months. One thing you mentioned really early on was people who say pay-per-click is free. SEO is free, pay-per-click you have to pay. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people where they've told me that, and I'm like, do you have a full-time SEO person or a part-time SEO person? And they're like, yeah. Like, how much are you paying them a month? And they'll quote me a figure usually in the thousands of dollars, and I'm like, so tell me all about how SEO is free, right? So
totally true. Yeah, I mean, SEO, it's guesswork. PPC, well, yes, there is a cost associated with it. It's a service that Google's offering. So they're going to treat you like a client with PPC. They're going to give you proper notice. They're going to help you. With SEO, it's, you're hiring somebody to try and make the best of it, but Google doesn't release all of that information, and you kind of have to roll with it, making it just a little bit less reliable. All right, so should we move on to point number 2?
Let's move on.
Which is AdWords is too expensive, and I hear this all of the time. The reality here is AdWords is expensive if you're not getting ROI. But if you're doing it right, you should be getting a good return on investment. And I think one of the reasons people think AdWords is so expensive is because they're doing it wrong. They don't have the proper account structure. They're not going forward with the proper keyword research, setting negatives to protect themselves, using bidding strategies, or even monitoring their search versus their display campaigns, right? And so if you're not using it properly, of course it's going to be expensive. But the reality is, if you can do it right, you really can control your costs. And you also have to remember you are in control of the entire situation. Like Brian said, you can turn it on, you can turn it off. You can set budgets, you can set restrictions. When people think about an auction, they assume that the highest bidder is always winning. And so when they think about the AdWords auction, they kind of have this mindset where it's like, how could I ever compete with the big guys? You know, Walmart will always outbid me. And the cool thing about Google is they actually help out the little guys here, because the way their auction works is the highest bidder doesn't automatically get the top spot. Instead, ad rank is a combination of what you're willing to pay, so that bid, multiplied by your quality score. And that yields your ad rank. So quality score is kind of the secret ingredient here that can help the little guys get his leg up. As you can see here, Maybe you're only willing to bid $2, but if you have a top-notch 10 quality score, you can beat out somebody with a crappy quality score who's willing to pay 4 times as much as you. And to take that one level further, when we look at what you actually pay, if somebody does click on your ad, quality score also impacts that. So your price is the ad rank of the person below you divided by your quality score plus a penny. Google always throws in a penny. The cool thing about that is, again, the higher that denominator is, that quality score, the lower you pay. So what is this secret weapon that you can be using to dramatically reduce your costs with PPC? It's quality score. And quality score is Google's way of encouraging searchers to be relevant. Google is by far the most powerful search engine in the world. And the reason people like it so much is because they believe in it. When I do a search on Google, I know I'm going to get good results, or it's the best place to get the results. And Google doesn't just want that to be true for the organic listings. They want their ads to be relevant too. Because as we said before, they want you to click on their ads. They want this ad platform to be robust. It is their main source of income. So when we look at this quality score component, it is Google's measure of how relevant your ads are to what people are searching and how relevant your landing pages are. And if you're giving people a really great experience, if you're giving them exactly what they're looking for, then Google is going to reward you by giving you a high quality score and this wonderful discount with that quality score.
Erin, if I can be the old guy for just a split second here, way back in like 2002, 2003, 2004, when I was learning the rudiments of AdWords way back in the day, Perry, who was a great coach at the time, he pointed this out, exactly what you're saying. Now, Google didn't have what they call quality score way back then. They basically just did a little calculation involving your click-through rate. But at the time, it was actually revolutionary. Like you could go to other pay-per-click search engines at the time, such as Overture and so on, but they were literally just sell out to the highest bidder. And Google was really special because they factored in your click-through rate. Now, it was crude by today's standards, but it was just a whole level better. It meant that you saw more relevant ads. It meant that the smarter advertisers got rewarded. And it was a great move on Google's part, and it is part of the reason why they are billionaires today.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I think it just really speaks to their commitment to being customer-centric. They want to give people what they're looking for, and that's why they've been successful, and luckily that has significantly benefited those small businesses. Kind of like if you put a little elbow grease into it, you can compete with the bigger advertisers.
Yep, absolutely.
And so here's an example that we like to show. If you're looking for men's leather shoes size 9, you know exactly what you want. Like, you're pretty far down the funnel. You're not trying to decide what kind of shoes you want. You know the size that you wear. So if somebody does a search for men's leather shoes size 9, it is critical they're served an ad that offers them that. And as you can see here, Zappos does a pretty good job, right? Even in the title, we see that they're offering us pretty close to what we're looking for. And then they follow through with it. When you land on this page, we see it is only size 9 shoes, so we know they're all in stock in the size that we're looking for. They are all leather, and they are all men's shoes. This is a slam dunk, right? They've done exactly what Google has asked them to do. And I haven't looked in their account, but I can guess that their quality scores for this particular keyword is high because they're giving people exactly what they want. And if you can follow through with this string of relevancy, you too can achieve pretty decent quality scores.
That principle has not changed in 13 years.
And it probably won't. And frankly, I hope it doesn't. I think it's a great addition. And we see other engines following suit. Even Facebook has this concept of relevancy that they they use to decide if they, how frequently your ad is shown. So I think we're going to continue to see this trend, and it benefits both the searcher and the advertiser. And then lastly, I just wanted to reiterate what I was saying before. The thing you need to remember with AdWords is you are in control. You can watch your campaigns like a hawk and not overspend. So it's not like you're throwing all this money, down a black hole to see what happens. No, you can see exactly what's happening. You can track your progress. If you're not happy with your progress, or you're concerned about how high you're spending, you can pull back. This is all kind of on you, the advertiser, to manage. So you really can control it. All right, so number 3, I hear this all the time with our clients. It's like, oh, my AdWords traffic never converts. It probably isn't converting because you're doing something or many things wrong. I hate to break it to you, but there is a lot you can do to usher in more conversions with paid search. eBay fell into this trap, and Brian and I were talking about this before we hopped on the phone today, where they kind of made this big stink and they said, PPC doesn't work. We tried it, we're a big company, we gave it our all, and PPC does not work. Well, it wasn't working for them because they were doing it wrong. They were using dynamic keyword insertion up the wazoo, and as you can see, people were searching for love. They would get an ad, love, buy it cheap on eBay. Wouldn't that be nice? Baby, buy it cheap on eBay. Okay, if you're doing PPC the wrong way, of course you're not seeing conversions. Of course they're not converting off the word love or baby, things that they're not selling, things that they can't sell. So you really need to strive to do it the right way.
Erin, I was telling you earlier, I once saw an ad for God. When I did the search on God, it said, looking for God, find it on eBay. And then also fried chicken, as though you could buy fried chicken on eBay. So it's so crazy because they were putting it down, and it's like, well, what are you doing? Just not doing it the right way. So how do we do it the right way? The first thing first, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is reviewing your structure. Look, you're not going to see conversions if you're bidding on fried chicken and you don't sell fried chicken. Automatic fail for eBay there. But in this example, if someone is looking for affordable baby gifts, the ad needs to offer affordable baby gifts. Great. But the landing page also needs to have affordable baby gifts. If you are a super expensive, really fancy site that doesn't sell affordable baby gifts, but you do sell baby gifts, well, shame on you if you think you're going to get conversions from that. Because this searcher has told you that they have a specific need. These gifts need to be affordable. They're looking for things that are inexpensive. So you should really only be bidding on terms that are truly things that you sell. And if people are making it to your landing page, you need to be giving them exactly what they're looking for. That string of relevancy must continue. You may also be bidding on the perfect terms and writing the perfect ad and then sending people to really crappy landing pages. And I can't tell you how many times I see this happening where people are like, I have a ton of volume on paid search. I believe that they're qualified traffic, but for some reason, I don't see any conversions. Well, why don't you see conversions? Is it because your landing page is not trustworthy? If you have an outdated landing page, people are going to hightail it out of there. People are looking for sophisticated, clean landing pages. If your landing page is tough to navigate and they can't figure out how to put your product in their shopping cart, sure, you're not going to see conversions. If you're looking for people to give you a phone call to purchase a product and you don't have your phone number easily visible on your landing page, you're not going to see conversions. So really take the time to ensure that your landing pages are working. We actually created a landing page grader that will do that for you. All you have to do is plug in your credentials. We'll assess your landing page and tell you if it works. If it doesn't, if you have a poorly done landing page, stop PPC, or at least pull back on it, fix your landing page, and then re-enter the market. Because you're just never going to see high conversion rates if your landing pages aren't up to snuff. I know lots and lots of consultants, colleagues of ours, that will not do pay-per-click advertising for businesses that aren't willing to have their landing pages fixed.
Yes, we actually have on our managed services team, we do the same thing. That's one of the criteria whereby we say, look, we really can't work with you because while we can definitely assure you that we can get people to your landing page, we just cannot assure you that they're going to actually do something when they get there.
Yeah, a good landing page makes a good business and a good client. So.
Yeah, and actually I should point out that extends to mobile landing pages. Like I said, we're seeing so many more mobile searchers coming through. Mobile searchers have a quick attention span. In fact, a shorter attention span than a goldfish, which is pretty shocking. So you need to have good mobile landing pages. Otherwise, again, they're going to go right back to the search engine results page and click on your competitor. And then the final thing here that I wanted to talk about is this concept of remarketing. People are not always going to convert the first time they make it to your landing page. And that's fair, particularly if you have a pretty long purchase cycle. You know, people are not going to automatically convert. They want to think about it. They want to, you know, check out your competitors, see if you have the best product out there. Remarketing is a great way to get people back to your site. With remarketing, you can actually cookie anyone who makes it to your site, be it organic, paid traffic, even direct traffic. Cookie those people and then follow them around on the internet with your ads. And this is amazing because it helps you stay top of mind. It reminds them about the product that they saw on your site and encourages them to come back and buy it. Sometimes you can even offer discounts with these ads to kind of give people a carrot to come back to you. So if you don't see PPC conversions at the first try, you know, the first time somebody lands on your page, definitely look into doing remarketing. We've seen incredible results with it. It's actually really sophisticated nowadays. You can do all different things with it, but it's a really good tactic to get people to come back and eventually usher in a conversion. And then the last thing you want to keep in mind is you need to be tracking your conversions. People come to me and they say AdWords doesn't work, and then I realize they don't have conversion tracking set up on their website or call tracking set up. So they really don't know if PPC works for them or not. Because the only way to attribute a sale back to a PPC click is by using some sort of tracking. And Google makes this really easy. Actually, at WordStream, we'll set up conversion tracking for you. It's that easy that we will do it for you. All you have to do is put some code on your website. And what that will do is it will help you see every conversion that's completed through paid search. If you are somebody who relies solely on calls as conversions, you can also set up call tracking. This is really easy. It essentially swaps in a dynamic number so we can track every call that comes through paid search directly back to the keyword that generated that ad to appear. And this is a great way to know if you're getting conversions off paid search. If you're telling me you're not getting conversions and you're not using tracking, I don't believe you. You really need to take the time to set this up, and it'll show you the yield that you're getting. It also is going to help you make smart decisions in your account. You're only going to see, or you're only going to be able to optimize if you have conversion tracking set up. Otherwise, you don't know what keywords are generating conversions, so it's tough to know where you should be bidding up or what you might want to exclude from your account.
So, you know, a couple comments about both conversion tracking and remarketing is I think a lot of folks get really intimidated by conversion tracking because, you know, if you want to like talk about analytics, for example, that could turn into like graduate level conversation, yeah. Right? And the same is actually true of remarketing. But you can set up some really, really fundamental and basic and simple feedback systems inside your AdWords account just using some simple conversion tracking pixels, and you can already move yourself well ahead of the pack. And the same is also true of remarketing. The waterline's going up a little bit. More and more advertisers are using remarketing, and I think a lot of our folks get really intimidated by the concept of remarketing because, you know, again, they're like, that's got to be PhD level stuff. Not really.
You know, it's surprising how easy it is. I too was really overwhelmed by it. I remember when my first couple clients wanted to use it, I was like, I don't know about this remarketing thing. It's pretty technical. But AdWords wants people to use it because AdWords wants people to be successful with PPC. So they've done a lot to make it easier for people who aren't, super high-level marketers.
Right.
And they even have this concept of dynamic remarketing. So if you have a ton of products on your site, you can plug in some very basic information, and they'll build the remarketing ads for you and run them for you. So that's completely hands-off. It probably makes more sense for most people out there to do more traditional remarketing because you do have more control. But if you have a huge product inventory, dynamic remarketing could be a really, really easy step to take to enable you to remarket.
Yeah, and all of the very, very best marketers and all of the very best businesses out there are in fact doing remarketing now. So it's just part of being in the game, and Google does make it easier.
Yeah, and we're all probably seeing those remarketing ads. No one's a stranger to those ads that follow you around. I mean, I remember before I started doing PPC, like 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I was graduating from college and I needed a graduation dress, and I found this ridiculously expensive dress that I have fallen in love with. And with my humble job at the recycling center of my college, I could not afford it. But it followed me around for so long, and I didn't realize it was remarketing. I thought the ads just happened to be showing to me, and I convinced myself that I needed it, and it was like fate that this dress was following me, and I saved up so much money, and I purchased it, and it was probably not the smartest thing I've ever done, but it worked. That advertiser really made out like a king just by showing me that ad a couple of times, kind of pushing it further and further into my brain that I absolutely needed this dress. Yeah, so.
But Erin, you looked after yourself in that moment, and karma has rewarded you in the years since.
Right? So true. All right, so continuing on. Number 4 misconception is that managing AdWords is a full-time job. And the way that we've been talking about it, I kind of understand why people would think that. It seems like a lot of work. It seems like a lot to learn. The reality is it does not have to be a full-time job. It certainly can be, but it doesn't have to be. So you can save yourself a ton of time by doing these small actions. You can delete useless keywords in your account and useless ads, making it so much easier to assess your performance without diving in and rooting through a bunch of kind of low impression keywords and ads. You can implement these things called ad customizers. These are incredible. I'm encouraging all of my clients to use them. Essentially what they do is they allow you to dynamically plug information into your ad copy. Things like countdowns, counting down to the end of a sale, or demonstrating a dwindling product supply. You can use these customizers to plug in locations based on where your user is located. There's a ton of things that you can do with them, but essentially what they do is they take that out of your list of responsibilities. Rather than updating your ad every day to show that your sale is coming near to an end, Google's doing that for you. They're plugging this information in for you. So they're moving to this more automated process, and it really does help advertisers save time.
And another way to describe what you're saying here, Erin, is you can 80/20 your AdWords account.
Oh, 100%.
And I just have to mention, I know a great book called 80/20 Sales and Marketing by someone we know and love. It's really good.
Oh man, that was a perfect softball.
Oh, it totally was. It totally was. But it is true that AdWords does give you lots and lots of tools that let you either automate your work or just 80/20 it, so that you're spending your valuable time on the valuable keywords and the valuable ad groups and the valuable campaigns that are really making a difference.
Absolutely, and any smart advertiser should be following that 80/20 rule. Even people who do this as a full-time job, you really shouldn't be spending much time on things that have really low impressions or are making a really small impact on your account. You need to focus on things that are going to yield a big return and have big results. All right, so let's continue. Yes, AdWords management should be continuous and ongoing, and you may feel that you don't have time for that. And if that is the case, we actually have a tool here at WordStream that will help you spare some AdWords, or spare some time spent on AdWords. So the way that our tool works is it gives you a list of things to do in your AdWords account every week, and you can do them in just 20 minutes a week. And if you think of all the things that you do for like 20 minutes a week that you could maybe skip out on to contribute to AdWords, I'm sure that would be an easy thing to find. I personally stand in line at Dunkin' Donuts for a good 15 minutes a day. So if I skipped out 1 or 2 of my Dunkin' Donuts runs, I could probably spend that time doing my 20-minute work week. And it's great because we're essentially telling you exactly what you need to do. We're going to say, all right, in the next 20 minutes, you need to add X amount of negatives, X amount of keywords. Here are the ads that you need to tweak. Here are the keywords that we recommend maybe taking action on. We're boiling all of this up to you. You're still in control. You're still making the end decision. We want you to be in control. But we also don't want you to have to spend all of your time rooting through the account trying to figure out what to do. Spend your time taking action on these things. We'll do the analysis. You just implement the results. So if anybody's interested in learning more about this 20-minute work week, we're going to offer more information at the end of the webinar, but I highly encourage you to check it out. This is a great way to ensure that you're not spending too much time in AdWords, yet you still stay in control of it.
Love that 80-20.
All about the 80-20. And then finally, the last misconception is that AdWords is hard. It's actually really easy to learn. Like, I personally do not have a degree in marketing. I hate numbers and I hate math, and I've still been able to figure it out. It's not rocket science. It's great because it follows a really, really clean formula. So if you can just take the time to learn the basics, you're going to find yourself an expert pretty quickly. And luckily, the PPC community is really, really receptive to new people doing it and has a lot of material out there to help you. So at WordStream, we have this PPC University. All you have to do is go online. We have 101 courses, 102 courses, showing you everything that you need to know to master paid search. We also have it in the form of an app. So if you're like me and spend a solid amount of time on public transportation every morning and every evening, download our app onto your iPhone. You can run through all of these courses. We even have videos to walk you through PPC and webinars like this. I would say if you give it a couple weeks of like really diligent studying, you're going to know all of the ins and outs that you need to know to manage a campaign effectively. And then there's also this Twitter group that if you're doing PPC, I highly, highly recommend following. It's hashtag PPC chat. You can send these people your questions like any day of the week, and I swear there's always people trolling on there. Well, maybe trolling is the wrong word, but there's always somebody there to answer your question. And people come from all around the world to follow this hashtag. If you're new to PPC, put out your questions. A ton of us will respond. And then on Tuesdays at noon, we all come together, and each week there's a different topic that we talk about, talking about our experience with paid search. So it's really good if you're new to PPC, just follow that Twitter stream. You don't even have to participate, but kind of listen in, and believe me, you will learn a ton.
You know, I think we were talking about this via email, that in all the years that Google has been running AdWords, the deepest core fundamentals have not changed one iota, okay? Because it boils down to well-written ads, very carefully matched to well-chosen keywords with sensible bidding applied. And that's AdWords. Right. And that was true 10 years ago, that was true 5 years ago, that's true today, that will be true 25 years from now, assuming the internet still exists and pay-per-click still exists. Just those fundamentals. And so a lot of tools out there, yes, A lot of competitors out there. Yes, a lot of bells and whistles that can make it kind of intimidating. Yes, but the fundamentals are still the fundamentals. Well-written ads matched with well-chosen keywords with sensible bidding. And there you go.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I agree. I don't think it's going to change. I think that once you master that, you're good to go. There's plenty of things you can continue doing if you want to kind of soup up your account, but to be kind of running PPC and doing it successfully, if you follow that string of relevancy, you can be a paid search advertiser.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I hope that that convinces everyone, or if you weren't here to be convinced, I hope that you can use some of these arguments to convince the naysayers that PPC actually does work and can be a great thing for your business.
Yeah, and it may be your spouse, that needs some convincing. It may be your business partner that needs some convincing. It may be your client that needs convincing. It may be a boss or a supervisor that needs convincing. But I think everything you shared here, Erin, it's very clear, very solid. It addresses all of the most fundamental objections that I've ever encountered with people dealing, having to make a decision about whether they're going to dive in further into AdWords or not. So this was good.
Great, yeah. And of course, if anybody does have other questions or any other objections that they've encountered that they could use some help answering, tweet at WordStream. We monitor our Twitter pretty heavily. You can tweet at me. My Twitter handle is just Erin Sagan, and I can help you through those. So I think we're going to close out by launching one final poll, right, Brian?
That is my understanding.
All right. So on your screen, you should now see you have two options, or three options here. You have the option to get a copy of a WordStream guide or an hour-long account review with someone here at the WordStream headquarters. So take a look, and we'd love to get you guys set up with these things.
Yeah, I'll mention just a couple notes about that 1 hour consultation. In the 1 hour consultation, as I understand it, you get a free trial of the WordStream software. The WordStream consultant walks you through improvement techniques and so on. They show you tools like quality score management tools for long-tail keyword research, tools for finding negative keywords, tools for ad group splitting that Perry Marshall and I like to call peel and stick, and so on. You get weekly smart alerts personalized for your accounts, and tips on managing bids, adding, removing keywords, optimizing text. You also get some do-it-yourself landing pages that capture and track your search leads. So a lot of good things in that 1 hour account review with WordStream.
Yeah, we'll do all the fundamentals for you. That's the goal.
Very good.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and close out the poll. Perfect. All right, well, thank you, Brian, so much for having me here today. I really enjoyed walking through this, and it was fun to meet with Planet Perry for a little while.
Absolutely, and I know Planet Perry always enjoys these little encounters that we have. So yeah, again, at Planet Perry, we've had a great relationship with Larry, with Erin, with the WordStream team for several years now. So many of our customers use WordStream in their various tools and services. The tools and services are good for you. There is a tool for you, at least one tool for you, whether you're brand new to AdWords or you've been doing this literally for years and you're managing multiple campaigns that let you 80-20 the work, that just give you better feedback than you've ever been able to get before. So you see the info on the screen there that you can follow up with WordStream if you have further questions. In the meantime, Erin, this has been a treat.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll work with you guys again soon.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Well, I'll close out here. Erin, thank you so much. Everyone who's been on, great to have you on, and good luck with your AdWords and pay-per-click campaigns.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Erin. Bye now.